Had a little listen to his podcast, huh?
Dude, it's educational. And besides, I've been wanting to listen to this one.
Welcome to Idling in the Impala, a podcast by and for lovers of supernatural and the fan fiction it inspires. I'm Kasey.
I'm Sandra, and we're checking off a guest on our podcast bucket list today. On occasion, we've said, we'll have made it when we can interview Kitten of Doomage. We are excited to say that day has finally come. Ree, known in fandom writing circles as Kitten of Doomage, has been posting fics on AO3 since 2016 and is one of the most prolific reader insert writers around. She writes for many fandoms, but Supernatural makes up the bulk of her stories, which total well over 1,000 that I could find reference to. And if you love alpha, beta, omega dynamics, you could survive quite happily on a diet of her fics for, well, forever. We are beyond thrilled to get to pick Ree's brain on writing and fandom. So, huge thanks for joining us, and welcome to the podcast, Ree.
Welcome.
Hello, you're going to make me blush.
Oh, but it's true, though. We are like...
Yeah.
You probably have not listened to all of our tangents because we have quite a few over the past few years on our podcast, but we've noted you, we've mentioned you, we've wrecked a bunch of your fics. I mean, you were like two of our fics when we did our deep dive on like Omegaverse and different things like that, and it's just you've been like there. I know for me, like I know you are a part of fandom since I can remember being a part of fandom, and yeah, you do great things for the fandom. And yeah, Kasey, your turn. Gosh.
Yeah, no, 100%. When I was sort of first getting into fandom, and I was in a group chat with Sandra and one of our other friends, and it was just new Kitten of Doomage fic. We'd be passing them back and forth, like 100%. And I have said so many times, if we could get you on the show, we would have made it. And now you're here.
And now you're
so
here.
exciting.
And we can like stop doing the podcast.
Yeah, that's it. Now this is
No, don't do that. I'm still catching up. I've been trying to listen to them on the school run, which is really funny because I'm laughing out loud in the middle of the street when people are walking past me like, she's crazy. No.
I think it's lovely to get to finally like talk to somebody who you've just, seen in fandom and just know of, and just to get a chance to like I said, just pick your brain and just talk about your journey with all of these things. Cause it's a lot. Like I said, I could only find like, I remember you, I think recently did a post on Tumblr. I think it was like 1,000 stories or whatever had been posted on AO3 or something like that.
Holy.
But you have to have so many more that we just don't. Do you keep track?
At the moment, I do, sort of, kind of. At the moment, not including ones that have been lost or in other fandoms. If I'm going based solely off what I've written since 2014, I'm up to 941 on AO3, and I've got another 6 long fic work in progress, which may never see the light of day at this rate, and about 45 queued fics for AO3.
Okay.
That are ready to go on there, just so I've always got something posting.
Oh, I mean, like I said, prolific doesn't like, I've with so many questions because like, you just seem like there's just.
I have no life. That's the answer. No life.
Oh my gosh. Well, I mean, you have to find time, right? Like no matter what, there's a ton of stuff going on. And everybody's, even no life is life. Like that's the thing. Like I think everybody's idea of life is. Yeah.
I think no life would be would not include the child I'm raising. Somehow, I was actually when she was little. I got back into fic writing. I didn't write for about 10 years. And then I was in the process of my marriage is breaking up, and I caught Live Free or Twi-Hard on Living UK at about 3 o'clock in the morning.
Okay.
And I was a massive Buffy fan, but I'd never really heard much about Supernatural. It wasn't aired very easily over here when it started. And I started watching. I was like, oh, this is really good. He's pretty fit. Yeah, I could watch all of this. That would be Dean. Because I started as a Dean girl.
Okay.
So I sailed the 7 seas to get the rest of it because I wasn't searching for it on Within Sky. I started watching, and I'd caught up from the start of 2013 to mid 2014. I'd caught right up to the airing, in between toddlering and work and divorce and crap. and I was just obsessed. I watched it over and over and over again, and it just sort of snowballed. And here I am, 11 years yet later, still writing for Demon Sam. It's and John. Can't forget John. I saw a really nice picture of Jeffrey D. Morgan earlier, and I keep thinking about it.
Oh, Jeff.
My husband.
Jeff's a delight, though. Jeff's a delight. He's an angel. We love him.
Yes.
So interesting too. I got little bits of So it sounds like there was fanfic writing too prior to that. But you said there was about a 10-year gap. Kasey, is that kind of like similar to like your writing, fanfic writing?
Yeah.
About a 10-year thing too, as well. And so when you say, so Live Free and Twi-Hard was literally the first time you turned on and saw Supernatural in any way, shape, or form. So you were right in the middle of like season 6, where everything was like, what the fuck's going on with Sam? it's really...
I think it helped that I sort of came in there because since season 6 Live Free Twi-Hard. Yeah, because Samuel's in that season. Yeah. I haven't rewatched it in a while. I'll explain why later. It was sort of like I came in at one of the worst seasons, so the rest of it seemed amazing.
Was very confusing. Yeah, it was a very confusing season. Like that start of that season was very confusing for many people, not knowing what the heck's going on. So yeah, it's an interesting intro to it. Was the vampire vibe kind of a thing too that kind of like got you?
Oh yeah, okay. Heavily vampires, loved vampires. I still do. It's a bit sad, but you know,
it's not sad. No, it's not sad. It's very interesting.
Vampires weren't where I started though. But Buffy was what I mainly wrote fan fiction for.
Okay.
Pre-2014.
Okay.
Huge Buffy fan, bit of a Spangle fan. But yeah, I was obsessed with that show. I've got tattoos of it and everything. I've got tattoos of Supernatural, so it's if I like it, I tattoo it on myself.
Aww.
But I was massive vampires, and I wasn't under the impression that Supernatural was entirely about vampires because it takes. I mean, I think they're in they do show up in it season 1 because John's there.
Yeah, Dead Man's Blood.
That's the one.
That's the episode. Yeah.
So you said Buffy, but like, and I mean, I remember watching Buffy, but like not like diehard. Like I wasn't diehard Buffy. I think I caught Buffy like when it was like off the air, and like once it finally got onto Hulu and stuff like that. But I've heard a lot of people talk about there's definitely like an overlap or a connection between like Buffy's an easy segue into like Supernatural's easy for like if you liked Buffy, you're gonna like enjoy Supernatural. So did you get that vibe right away when you started watching?
Yeah, I mean, I was 12 when Buffy came out.
Okay,
and I used to watch it on BBC Two every Thursday with a little black and white dicky TV. I had to tune in with a dial. Now I'm showing my age.
I remember those.
That was my TV.
Yeah.
And I didn't have a VHS player or a VHS recorder. So what I used to do was tape the episodes on my little tiny boombox.
Did you have like a little? I had like a little Fisher Price. Yes, I used to have like a little Fisher Price before I could get like a VCR. I had like the really teeny tiny ones, and I remember like shows that I liked. I would like put it up to like the little speaker and press record, and I'd have like my little tape. Yeah. Oh, so cute. Yes. So
I learned all the shows, all the scripts like that. And obviously by the time I got around to watching Supernatural, I could just watch it on the computer, and it made it so much easier to rewatch it. But there is a significant overlap. They're very similar stories, to be fair. Especially when Dawn's brought into it in Buffy. The brotherly sisterly relationship and the Dean and Buffy are very similar characters. In that they're very selfless, but too selfless at times.
Yeah.
As they both show by sacrificing themselves for other people when there isn't always a need to.
Yeah. Just so gosh darn desperate to be martyred.
Yeah. I'm doing it.
Yeah, I had Buffy kind of, not the show, but I had an ex who was so insistent that I would love Buffy and kept like, wouldn't let me watch like the TV show, kept insisting that I had to start with the movie, before.
No. Oh gosh, it's fun to watch, but only when you're drunk.
And it's just
start with that.
I just kind of like, instinctively reject it. And I do think maybe I should watch it because like so many people like that we talk to and they go, oh yeah, I started with Buffy. I watched all the Buffy before Supernatural. And I kind of feel like maybe I'm missing a trick here, but also like every time I think about it, I just think about him and harping on about redhead girls and making me watch that fucking movie. And I'm just like,
it's not aged particularly well, some of Buffy. I tried rewatching it last year, and honestly, I turned it off at season 4 because Xander was pissing me off. I just wanted to reach into the screen and throttle him, and I turned it off at the end. But I think I've watched it enough that I still know it pretty much by heart.
Yeah, I mean, as Supernatural fans, we all understand the urge to reach through the screen and throttle somebody.
Yes.
Absolutely.
There's a few people in Supernatural who made me do that, actually.
Kasey, I didn't know we kind of got a hint about the question. But
See, I don't know which way this is gonna go, but I have thoughts either way. So you gave yourself away, but then you kind of backtracked on it, and now I'm questioned. Do you have a Blorbo preference between Sam and Dean?
It depends on the day.
That's fair.
There's some. I started as a Dean girl. For about 6 months, I was a Castiel girl. And then don't ever name your pets after characters you like.
Yeah, now you've got this
Castiel,
cat that you love, but also, God, I wish you answered to something else.
He broke my toe twice.
Aww.
So he didn't mean to. It's just he was one of those black cats that constantly wants to be under your feet. So he kept knocking me over. And I got so used to shouting, "Castiel, you little bastard!" That it stopped me liking the character quite so much. And I kept doing horrible things to him in fiction. So I've sort of, as I've got older, I find myself appreciating Sam a bit more. But I think that's simply because I am a 38-year-old woman and I would not put up with Dean's shit. Like the episode where he wears his boxers inside out. No, get out. Get out.
I think I just watched that episode where he made that reference. Yes, I remember that. He's like, yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
Oh goodness.
Yeah.
Oh, my
no, I in the rankings between like the 4 of them, Sam, Dean, Jared, and Jensen, Dean always comes at the bottom, and I feel bad about that, but also I'd kill him. Kill him. Oh, so like, do you want me to put you down as like a bi-bro, or like do you feel like you could pick a side?
I'm a bi-bro. Yeah,
bi-bro.
Bi-bro.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna have to make a new column. I'm gonna have to make a new column, I think. I will say though, because no, season 6 does not escape me unscathed. I think it's very interesting that you started with season 6 objectively the best Sam ever fucking looked, and you were like, now the short one. I'm fully in for the short one. Was it the hair? Was it like you just not a fan of rippling out?
You know what though? To be fair,
I love men with long hair. My husband's hair is down to his waist. He looks like I'm going to say Aragorn off Wish, but oh my god, I love him. He's got such lovely hair. And I have touched Jared's hair very briefly, and he died. And
it's on my list.
I don't know what it was about that episode. Maybe it was just because of the way Jensen portrayed being Dean as a vampire. Just, I don't know, angsty men get me hot.
Yeah.
Well, you know.
Yeah, but you know, to be fair, the third man I think was right before Live Free and Twi-Hard, so Ree wouldn't have even have seen that episode.
Yeah, that's what.
You know what I mean?
What I was thinking.
That could have changed everything, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, no, if I'd seen Sam with his shirt off right there, I probably would have done that.
Yeah.
I'm watching this for the plot.
So much plot. Rippling, tan, sweaty plot. There's fucking loads of plot, lads. Loads of it. Carry on. Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
I'm such a fan of the fact you were like, I've grown into a Sam girl because I would indeed in the face.
Has it been a while since you've watched the show, Ree?
Yeah, I rewatched it with my husband last year. It was just a mistake. The husband part, not the show.
They just don't get it on the same level, do they? You just don't get it.
I love my husband dearly, but he makes comments constantly. Anything I'm watching, comments. And he is a funny man, but he needs to pick his moments. And he kind of just ruined the last couple of seasons for me. And I'm like, do you know what? Next time I'm just going to watch it on my iPad with my headphones in.
Oh no!
Did he enjoy it?
He does to a degree. He'd only watched seasons 1 to 5 when I met him, and we met in 2014. So he did gradually watch the rest of the show with me. He was very upset when Bobby died. Almost made him stop watching. And then they killed Kevin, which he took as a personal insult.
Oh.
So he did finish it. But yeah, he wasn't impressed with the last couple of seasons. But what does he know?
That's fine.
But he knew about he knows what I write. He's even read some of it back in the early days. He's quite an understanding guy. He knew the craziness going in. But he's like, if I say, I've just written like 5k words, and he's like, that's amazing, babe. You know, I know he's not really very interested in what I'm writing about, but he's like my biggest cheerleader.
Oh, that's lovely.
I love that.
Were you worried about telling him? Because I've run across other people who like, I mean, some people are like very open.
No, I was drunk.
Okay.
We were introduced by a mutual friend, who's still one of my best friends, and she literally said, "This is Rhiannon. She likes weird stuff." And we were drinking quite heavily at the time, and I was just like, "Yeah, all right, man." He can't say anything. He was the front man for an emo band. That's way more embarrassing.
An emo band that anybody might know, or
no?
Like
we've been married nearly 6 years, and I still don't know the name of his band.
All right.
He refuses to tell me because I'll go look for it.
I fully love the fact that you fronted up about that, though. There was a period of time when I wouldn't sit next to my husband and write. I would sit like across the room so he couldn't see my screen.
No.
No, I've got over that now.
He will literally go, "This is quite rude." Right about dick again, babe.
I love that.
Who's doing who tonight?
Oh no, my husband doesn't ask probing questions like that. I just occasionally turn to him and I'll just go, "I'm writing really explicit gay porn. Look at your own risk." No. And even then, it has to be something really explicit for me to warn my husband. He's learned now. He just doesn't. If he sees a white background, he's like, "Oh, nope, that'd be porn over there. I'm not looking at that."
I mean, he doesn't know what Omegaverse is. I did try and explain it to him once. And the look he gave me made me go, and I was like, "Babe, never mind." So he doesn't really understand that. He does know I write weird werewolf shit sometimes. And he's like, "Okay, babe, you do you. Take whatever makes you happy."
Yeah, honestly, that's the kind of support that we all need. They don't need to know the ins and outs of it. They just need to be like, "You wrote 1,000 words today, babe. Fucking get it." Yes.
Yeah.
Right?
I think that's great. I think, unfortunately, a lot of people that do write fan fiction, a lot of, don't have that outlet and support, like just because you don't have to know everything about what I'm doing, but the fact that you support that I enjoy and I'm doing something that other people enjoy is great. And it's an achievement to be able to be creative in this way. So that's nice that he's just, he just questions. He does a little gloss over questions and then just does his own thing and stuff.
Yeah.
Stuff that way.
Yeah. I've had my previous husband. He didn't even like that I was obsessed with Supernatural because I started getting into toward the end of our relationship. He was like, "Oh, you replaced me with a TV show," and I'm like, "Well, yeah, the TV show treats me better." But my husband, my current husband, wasn't fazed by my obsession with this TV show. He actually paid for my flights to New Orleans so I could go with one of my Tumblr friends to the convention.
Oh, that's lovely.
And that was before we were even married. We were only engaged at that point.
Yeah.
And he's always just been supportive, and I think that does help somewhat. If I'm having writer's block, he'll try and coach me through it.
I love that.
He tries at least.
Does he think it's sexy that you write sexy stuff? Because my husband gets very like, "What you writing about now?"
Yes. Sometimes I wouldn't say he's some of my earlier books. He might have read for a few ideas.
Well, do you know what? That's kind of part of what it's there for, isn't it? My husband would not. Yeah. But I primarily write gay stuff now, so he's like, "Oh no, there's dicks and none of them are mine.
Yeah.
That's disgusting." And even if one of them was mine, I don't want any others in there. No.
He's not even
I love
bothered
him.
when I am writing. I haven't written in ages, but if I was writing like Winchester or something, he'd be like, "Okay, cool, babe." He just doesn't care.
I think it's helpful to like know how much involvement you really want to have in what someone loves to do. Like sometimes it's going to work, sometimes it's not. Don't if it doesn't need to overlap too much, don't let it overlap too much. Just be supportive, and that works. It's much better to just be supportive than to be like, ew, no, that's not going to work. Yeah, that's not a good way to go. It's not a good look. So your husband wasn't too keen on the last few seasons. Did you what were your thoughts overall like about the arc of Supernatural as a whole? Like were there certain like high points, low points? Were some seasons like a little bit harder to get through? I mean, you said season 6, arguably yes, one of the worst seasons, but like were there some highlights for you throughout the way, lowlights?
I mean, season 1 to 5 with me would always be called Supernatural.
Yeah.
That's season 4 and 5 are my favourite seasons. I don't mind how I kind of feel like it got a little bit goofy towards the end, which is fine. It's a long running show. The quality's never going to be 100%. At least it wasn't Game of Thrones season 8. That was worse. But my only complaint with the later seasons is that they made it too sitcom-y with the lighting. I think I love the Men of Letters bunker. It could have been grimier for a place that had been left abandoned for 50 years. It was very clean. I think the later seasons weren't as gritty, so even though the stakes were higher. And I don't know if I'm in the popular crowd or the not popular crowd with this, but I love Jack. He is a tiny baby and I want to look after him forever. I don't care if he's kind of God now. Give him pie and a milkshake.
Right? He's just a little muffin.
He is baby.
He's a baby man. Just like somebody come get this kid. He's napping a juice box. He's bad,
right?
Jack.
Yeah. I think it was more about the beginning, like how he was like, I don't know. You were talking about like the end of the show, like, it starts to, if something's been on for too long, it's, the jumping the shark kind of thing. And I like just his introduction meant to me, oh, they're doing this thing now. They're getting ready with this, the younger kid that has to come in and like, inject some life. I definitely learned to appreciate and love him more, but at the beginning I was like, oh, whoa, here we go, this is what's happening, kind of a situation. So yeah,
I mean, I don't think anyone can complain about series going on too long when we're on season 20 something of Grey's Anatomy.
I've never watched that show, so I wouldn't.
Don't bother.
I haven't watched it. I've watched it all the way through.
Really?
I'm currently watching ER. Actually, I love ER. I don't know what it is about medical dramas. They're so compellingly stupid. How can all these things happen to this group of people?
Are there still the original people on Grey's Anatomy from the start?
No. Oh. Meredith kicks up occasionally.
Okay.
She wasn't. I haven't watched all of the latest season because I put it on and it was like, who the fuck are all these people? I'm sure I didn't skip a season, did I? No. Bailey's still in it. She's my favourite character, but they're watering her down as she gets older, which is annoying me. And Richard should have been gone. Don't know why he's still there. He's an idiot.
Oh, well. You heard it here first, guys. Hot takes on Grey's Anatomy.
I watch most things. The only thing I don't watch is like cop dramas. Sorry, Jared. I can't do it. I can't. I've seen the gifs of you with your shirt off. That's enough for me. I'm not watching Walker.
I tried. I made it about 5 episodes into season 1, and I just didn't. I could not get into it. I
don't understand. Both of them are like, I'm going to go do a boring cop drama.
Yeah. So you didn't do Jensen with Big Sky.
I got Jensen in The Boys, and I got Jensen's bare ass in The Boys. So right. And I'm getting Jared in The Boys, and I got Jeffrey Dean Morgan in The Boys. Although if he could have been solid, I still would. I don't know what it is about that man in a suit with an accent.
Are you a fan of The Walking Dead then?
Yes, I've seen all of it, and I watched The Dead City. I haven't watched the Daryl series yet, and I haven't watched the Michonne and Rick one because, to be honest with you, I know everyone loves their love story, but oh my god, there is not a more boring couple of Just Michonne on her own would have been fine. She kicks ass. Andrew Lincoln is so boring. He's just.
Leave him alone. He's the wettest. He spent so many years being the wettest any human man has ever been
Coral,
on Earth.
Coral, get out.
Coral.
Coral,
He was very
all
wet.
year.
It was in his ears and his head. I'm convinced that's why Andrew Lincoln bowed out of The Walking Dead. He was like, I need to dry, lads. I need to go home. It's
I'm
too hot.
overhydrated.
No, I dipped out of The Walking Dead around when the whole alpha thing was coming because I was like, this is fucking weird. But they'd already resolved the whole Negan is a badass with a baseball bat by that point. So I was like,
Yeah,
okay.
I stuck with it just because JDM. That's it. It's the only reason I was watching by the end.
Yeah, no, that's valid. I do think he would be. You would have stuck in for that. He's in.
He's in a great movie called The Losers. I don't know if you've watched that.
I haven't.
It's got Chris Evans, Idris Elba, Jeffrey Dean Morgan, Zoe Saldana. Honestly, put a towel down if you watch it.
Yeah, all right.
What about the one that AJ mentioned, Kasey? The one where he's in the bathtub with that gift?
Oh, I haven't watched.
Oh
that
God,
one.
he's so creepy in that.
Yes, but also he jerks off in the bathtub. I've watched shittier movies for Let's Play.
The context. He does some truly awful movies. The Unholy. I got about 20 minutes into that and was like, dude, even your face can't save this. I watched Rampage just because he had a southern accent, and when he does that southern drawl, it's like a direct line to places.
Yeah, that's the one I was going to say because he was filming The Walking Dead when he did that. So they dressed him all up in a suit and tie, and they were like, "Please be a professional." And he was like, "Best I could give you is Negan."
It's when he talks out of the corner of his mouth, and he does that talk back with one shoulder and like sticks his crotch out, and it's like,
"What
are you doing to me?" That's witchcraft.
Oh man! Oh man!
It's a talent, though, isn't it? It is a fucking talent.
Yeah, Hillary is a damn lucky woman. Very, very lucky woman.
Yeah.
God damn, I'm jealous. I'm not. I'm really hoping my husband can't hear me. I love you. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I do that as well. I'm like, no, I still love you. I'd pick you in every universe. I love you, but also
my husband understands. I've told him. Yeah, it's understood.
When I put something on and I'll go, we're going to watch this tonight, and he's like, all right, who's in it? Why'd you say that?
Yeah, which one of them is it? Yeah.
Yep, pretty much.
Me and my husband have. Sorry, Sandra. Me and my husband have a tradition of watching the least romantic movies that we can find on Valentine's Day. And it started a few years ago with The Shape of Water, and we were like, fish, love story, whatever. And it was just weird and creepy. So now we just watch weird fucking movies on Valentine's Day. And we watched watched Friday the 13th, and we watched My Bloody Valentine. And then I was like, okay, like next year. And he was like, so we've just watched Jared and Jensen movies now. And I was like, oh, we can pick something else if you want.
They don't have a great, there's not a lot of great stuff they do.
But there's two more.
Yeah.
But there's two more.
Friday the 13th, every Friday the 13th.
but I can get two more Valentine's Days out of this because I can get House of Wax and Devour. And they're still technically a little bit creepy.
Devour is so bad.
Devour was bad. Yeah.
But there's the scene in the chair, and I'm led to believe that he has blood smeared all over his face at the end of it.
The plot is so bad.
The plot is
icky,
really bad.
So icky.
Yeah. I mean, I've watched it and like gone through it, and My Bloody I don't know which one's worse. Devour's pretty bad.
Like My Bloody Valentine.
Yeah, Devour is pretty bad.
I appreciate the gore of a movie.
Yeah.
I quite like a gory movie, so I can overlook the plot if the gore's good, but Devour's just all round.
Yeah, it is. It
what
is
are
really
you thinking,
bad.
Jensen? I know what he's thinking. Money.
Yeah, paycheck. Yeah.
So I think what I'll probably do is we'll probably watch House of Wax this year because you've really fucking sold me on Devour, guys. Definitely going to queue that one up.
Oh gosh, yeah.
The CGI in that movie is amazingly bad. I've only watched it once, and I was like, really?
Yes, but then every so often that, oh god, isolated audio will go back around Tumblr of Jared.
Yeah, I know that one. Yes,
and I'll get on board with that. Yeah.
Oh my gosh,
that video was one of those times that I should have really learned to mute my laptop. your headphones in.
Oh
If you ever
gosh.
search for it, put your headphones in first.
Yeah,
Do
headphones.
everyone
Headphones
around you a
first.
favour and
Mm.
Yeah.
yourself. You won't
And
live it down.
moving back to Supernatural. Good lord.
Do you have any other like favorite characters from the show?
I love Jodie, mainly because I
Yeah.
just want to sit and drink. I don't know, Don, well, she can drink wine. I don't drink, so yeah, I love Jodie. I love Donna.
Aw.
Yeah, I just want to have a girls' night with them.
Yeah, it'd
Really.
be fun. Very fun.
And I love Gordon Walker is one of the most intensely terrifying characters they ever had on that show.
Mhm.
And Sterling K. Brown played it so well. He's such a good actor.
Yeah.
There's loads of stuff he's done that I've loved. I'm trying to think of other characters now. I do have a soft spot for Hannah in the later seasons,
Okay.
just because she's so clueless. I just want to pat her on the head and be like, it's all going to be all right, you know? You go through it, love. And obviously John, he was only in it for 10 episodes, but yeah, John is one of my favourite characters.
Yeah.
Judging by how many fan fictions I've written about him.
How many?
Oh, hang on a minute. I can tell you that I have my Area 3 up right. No, I don't want to do it. Do it later. I'm not very good with technology. Oh, it's trying to go away. It's trying to do an update.
Considering how much you have to deal with technology, you are a brave soul.
How do I?
I mean, would you say it's in the hundreds?
Maybe not the hundreds. Okay, maybe it is in the hundreds. But 120, 120,
Okay.
125.
We have strong feelings about John in many ways on the show, but like what about his character? Is it his character? Is it more his presence? What is it about John that you?
He's an older man, and I can.
Oh, I love it. Oh my gosh.
Which is, I've always had a thing for older men in fiction. Funny enough, my husband is 5 years younger than me.
Okay.
I don't know what happened there.
Sometimes it do be that way.
Daddy issues might have something to do with it. But yeah, I don't know. I just, he's so messed up. And I could fix him.
Yeah.
One good blowjob, I'll fix him.
Similar kind of things with Dean though. You'd be like, "Oh God, you're a mess, babe."
I can fix you. Yeah, come on.
Fix.
Yeah.
There we go.
Get your dick out. I'll fix it. Don't worry about it. I'll make it all better. Yeah.
I think that's why I'm more drawn to Sam as I get older, because there's less to fix there. He already cooks and cleans and eats healthily. I don't, he does his laundry. We saw that. But the other two, when I was younger, definitely I could fix them. I could fix that trauma. He doesn't need therapy. He needs to get his end wet. That's what he needs.
Sandra, I need you to write that down. I don't care where you write that down, but I have not heard that. I have not heard that in so long, and that needs to go in something that we're working in.
Oh my gosh, he needs to get his head wet. Gosh. I got it.
Thank you.
I'm ready to get down. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. No, that makes a lot of sense. I think that's a big deal with a lot of people in general with these guys, like however you think about it too, about being able to fix. I always talk about it as just giving them something better, right? Or giving them whatever they deserve kind of a situation. So that's like how I kind of come at it. But yeah, thinking about fixing them, and it's easier in fan fiction, right? Like that isn't easy.
Much easier.
Yeah. It's definitely an easy fix to do.
You don't have to have all the difficult conversations about the trauma and stuff. You can just skip right to the end.
I mean, some of my characters probably should sit down and talk about their trauma. Especially after what I've done to them. There's a few that I've come back and read, and I'm like, what the fuck was I doing? That's so mean. I'm actually been writing this fic for years, which is like a series rewrite, but I'm not doing the typical taking each episode and rewriting it to fit the reader's characters. It's more of a alongside. This is her life, sort of intermeshed with theirs on occasion.
Oh, I love those. I wrote one of those, and we had friend Dandelion Dreaming, who wrote the Rookie series, kind of like that, where it's not just necessarily like reworking. I mean, I'm assuming not reworking, like you said, the script to like kind of incorporate them, but maybe showing like scenes or pockets where they're a part of their life that kind of like works with them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm changing a few elements of the actual series media. and I can't stand her. I don't want to think about her, so she's not in it. Lisa's not in it either. She's
Okay.
So it's at the moment it's about 75k, and it's still I'm only on season 9. Start
Okay.
season 9, end of season 8.
Okay.
No, I'm not even there. I'm at the end of season 7. Because Dean's in purgatory.
Okay.
So, but it's not sort of a. Here's how their lives are so much better with her. It's like no, their lives are just as shitty.
Right. Yeah.
And she's not having a great time either. And I'm not. I changed my mind on the ending a few weeks ago, and I rewrote it. And I'm like, oh god, everyone's gonna hate me. But you know what? It is what it is. Someone's gonna like it.
Sometimes the story does that though, doesn't it? Sometimes you'll be like, I know what this is happening. I know what's happening. I know what the fuck did you guys do? Yep. I blinked, and what is this now? Yep. No.
I love a plot twist. There's nothing I like more than a plot twist. And I love leaving people on cliffhangers as well. I don't know if anyone's noticed that in my work, but it's like a long chapter. I'm gonna leave it on a cliffhanger and give you the rest next week. There you go.
I'm a big fan of a cliffhanger-y kind of ending as well. Only not for like the actual ending of a story, but if it's a chapter end that I'm gonna update, you know, I like a powerful chapter ending for sure.
I like here's something to grab you and make you want to come back next week. That probably stems from being a kid, and every show I watched was like, here's an episode. You don't know what's going to happen until next week though. I think you might not get the reference. The Dun-Duns at the end of EastEnders.
I know exactly what that is. The Duff Duffs.
Yeah, the Duff Duffs. That's the word I was looking for.
The Duff Duffs.
And it always ends on something like dramatic. And
you ain't my mother.
Yeah, like soap opera, serial kind of. I mean, I was going to ask too that you have that. I mean, if you're in that mindset anyway, your longer stories do have that like serial feel to it. You know, like you're being left with like, oh, what's going to happen next? Like next time on like da 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 da, like that kind of thing. Like, you know, it's like and it has that hook, right? That you want to come back and you want to see what's going to happen. How are they going to resolve it? Are they going to be in more shit? What the heck's going on? You know, like that kind of stuff. So yeah, I definitely feel that in your right, like your longer pieces, obviously, because I read Ironheart again. I know you write so many things, so you probably, but because I was going through some of your stuff and I wanted to kind of revisit, and I think I've read really more of like your shorter, your like, you know, your one shots or different things, but this one, it really kind of interested me in the premise of, you know, Dean finding an Omega in a compound and then bringing her, like, quote unquote, saving her. She didn't really need saving in terms of how she'd been able to survive, I think, years there, you know, and just went through it. But what I loved in it, and Kasey, I wasn't going to suggest that one to you, but then
no, hit me up, friend.
No, but you know why I wasn't? Because I didn't think Sam is not in it in the beginning. And I didn't think, I was like, But then Reed did this great thing where Sam is. And I was like, that was like one of the best like plot twisty things that started to happen in the middle of it. So yes, Ironheart, I will make sure you get a link to it. I loved it. I just finished it yesterday.
That's one of the ones I really enjoyed writing, actually, and I still remember getting really excited posting a new chapter every week. I love a dystopian future.
I know you can be a grown up, but I also know
read Dean-centric things.
No. But I mean, the fact what had happened to Sam in it, I was like, oh no, because at first I was like, okay, well, this is just like no Sam, but then it was like, you know, then I was like, no, I'm not gonna suggest it with the Kasey. But then it changed. It was great. You will love it, and I will definitely give you a link to it. Yeah, but I definitely get that serial vibe. I guess we should talk about your fan fiction. We could probably still go about the show forever. Did you just write like any sort of original stuff before you got into fan fiction, or was it fan fiction right from the go?
No, it was original fic to start. I actually wrote my very first story when I was about 9. No, about 10. I was in year 6 at school, so that would have been 5th grade in America. And we had this computer in the classroom. We didn't have one at home because I was poor. So we had one of those Windows NT 3.1, black background with green writing on it. Yep. Printed out on an ancient printer. And my very first story was about a bunch of kids that found a dragon egg at the beach. And I have attempted to write several original things over the years, but I always come back to fan fiction. I don't know if it's a comfort thing, if it's because it's characters I know, because it's worlds that are already established. But then again, I love an AU, so it's not always the world that's the issue. It's I don't know. Fan fiction just scratches that itch. Whilst original stuff I've written and published has been fairly well received, I'm not sure if I'll ever finish that novel. I keep telling Becca I will, but sorry, Becca.
No, Becca's great too. Yeah, like just talking about that different stuff. Yeah, I would assume too, having written fanfic and being involved in the community too, it's just a different beast, right? Like in and of itself, like getting that, especially if you're a serial, like that serial part of writing, getting that community interaction, that's just not something you get when you're just writing for yourself, you know? And I mean, I know we all say that we do. I do really believe that. I mean, and I'm assuming like writing for yourself, fan fiction wise, I mean, it didn't always start like immediately like posting. I mean, I'm guessing you wrote a lot of stuff that was just for you, fanfic wise, for a while.
I mean, my first fan fictions when I was like 12 were like all 11, 12ish, were all Star Trek, Voyager fan fictions. I used to write them in my exercise books that I got from school. Yeah. And no one read them except my best friend Charlie, who let me read hers. We didn't. Fan fiction that did exist then. It's just that we weren't quite at that stage. It was only when I got into Buffy and I discovered the community on LiveJournal and fanfiction.net that we started. It became more of a hobby thing rather than I'm just writing my own little stories in my bedroom pretending that I'm a crew member on Star Trek, which is something sad to say out loud, doesn't it? But it's I've always loved creating my own little worlds and telling stories, and my mum's pursued me for years to get me to write things and stuff because she used to read my stuff that I brought home from school. She knows what I do for a living. She won't read it. She won't, I'm not reading any of that filth, but you do you.
That's peak British mum right there. I'm not fucking looking at it. I'm fully behind you, babe. You shoot for the moon. Don't ask me to read it. Nope.
But yeah, when joining, I mean, when I got onto posting Buffy stuff when I was older, when I was going back like probably 2009, 2010ish. That was a website called Elysian Fields, where everyone posted their Buffy fanfics, mostly Buffy fanfics. And I remember one time I got nominated for Fic of the Week, and it was like, this is the biggest thing that's ever happened to me. There's like 200,000 Buffy fans use this website on a daily basis, and I'm like, they've nominated my fic. And I've gone back and read some of them recently, and I'm like, oh my god, they're awful. Like, this is so bad. Who was reading this? And there's a few on AO3 from my early days in the SPM fandom. I'm a bit like, who's reading this trash? Why? But I think when I started in the supernatural fandom, it was the community on Tumblr, because I joined it on a whim because I had nothing else to do. So I went, go over here, it's fun. Oh, never escape.
You're in now, that's it. It's a lifetime thing.
Lifetime commitment, that is. But the community around supernatural and fan fiction was so different to anything I'd ever experienced before. Everyone wanted to talk about it, and they weren't like ashamed of it or making fun of you for it. If anyone had found out at school what I was doing, well, they did know that I was a bit of a nerd, but if they'd found out what I was writing, these days, if someone found it online, there would have been instant bullying at my school. I went to an all-girls school, so we were repressed.
Yeah, I went to an all-girls high school, so I get it. Yeah.
So the community that I found as an adult, I wish I'd had as a child. I think it would have nurtured me a bit better with regards to my creativity, because it dropped off when I was an older teen, and it took until I was 20, 25, 26-ish to actually start writing again. And I'm so much healthier and happier when I can write a story, because it just gets everything out. It's a great therapy. But it is the hobby I keep coming back to. It doesn't matter how many other times I've tried to crochet or whatnot, I keep coming back to fan fiction.
No, that makes sense. I mean, I feel like we talked to quite a few people that kind of have that, you know. I do think it's the writing and the creativity and the comfort, the knowing the characters, and then being able to explore with them in a way, like just like getting, like you said, getting all that out. Like it's therapy, you know, I think for a lot of
100%.
for a lot of people, you know, I mean, I think that it's a special gift to be able then to share that with a community. And I think for me, I'm curious too, because when you got into it, like we've talked to some different people in the fandom over the years, and like people from like the very beginning, like 2005, 2006. And I think Kasey and I were both kind of surprised to find out that, you know, in the beginning, reader insert was kind of frowned upon in the early years. Did you, when you came into it and you came into it on Tumblr, was reader insert just like a thing that you found right away and found a community for?
It wasn't. I didn't really even know it was a thing.
Okay.
To be honest with you, when I first started, I was like, "What the hell's a reader insert?"
Mm-hmm.
Because I started my first supernatural fanfiction I ever wrote was a time travel fic. That was just brothers, not Winchester.
Just like a general, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just a gen fic. And then I started reading this long fic. I tried to find out the name of it earlier, but I can't get onto fanfictions.net because my antivirus thinks it's a dangerous website, which to be fair, it probably is nowadays.
Yeah.
And there was I can't remember the name of the lady who wrote it, but she wrote this beautiful OC times OC Castiel fic, where the OC was Winchester sister. It was a brilliant fic, absolutely brilliant. I was reading it on my lunch breaks at work. I was eager for every update.
Mm-hmm.
And I ended up talking to her over fanfiction messenger.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, would you mind if I wrote a story inspired by your character? And she said, yeah, that's fine. Go ahead. So I ended up writing this really long fic called Unto My Grace, which is a really shit title. And I never finished it. I got to about 25 chapters. It's on my computer somewhere. And it was this OC with Castiel. And then someone who was reading it on fanfiction followed me on Tumblr and said to me, have you ever written a reader insert? And I've gone, what the hell is a reader insert? They've explained it to me, and I've gone, okay, that makes no sense to me whatsoever. Give it a go, see if you. And I've been writing smutty fic since forever because, you know, all girls school, repressed and all that.
And not only that as well, like a
rebellious
child of the late
teenager.
80s.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, late 80s, early 90s. That's what we did, wasn't it?
Well, you know, I got to that sort of teenager. I put it about a bit. I'm not ashamed to say that. I've made many mistakes in my life. Most of them were men. But
not shaming anybody anyway. A youth
I've always found it easy to write smart. I don't know why. Cursed, maybe. I don't know. Everyone else is enjoying it.
Yeah.
And this lady on Tumblr, I can't remember who it was. A lot of the old people are gone now off Tumblr. Abidam Muyal, she was great. Clever Dame wrote some amazing fics. She did one called Easter Nowhere, which is, I don't even know if it's available anywhere anymore, but it's the most amazing fanfic. One of the best ones I've ever read. But this person asked me to write this reader insert with a bit of smut in it, so I did it. And she was like, "This is really good," and I'm like, "Is it really?" But I have that same reaction now, 10 years later. I'm like, is it really good though? Because I think it's shit. And I'll send it to Becca and go, Becca, is it good? And she'll go, it's brilliant. And I'm like, you're lying to me. You're lying. I'm crap.
Yep. Again, the Brit late 80s, early 90s. We live with imposter syndrome. Yeah. It's our roommate. It doesn't pay the fucking rent, but by God, it has the biggest bedroom.
Mine's called Jeff, and he lives behind me at all times, telling me, you're a liar. You didn't write that. It's not as good as everyone says it is.
Yeah.
Constant.
Mine's a little goblin that continuously reminds me that I've tricked people into like thinking that I'm a good person. And then one day they're all going to find out that like what a horrible gremlin I am, and it's all based on lies. I haven't named it because if I name it, I'll get attached to it, and I would quite like it to fuck off. So
I never get attached to anything called Jeff unless it's Jeffrey Dean Morgan.
That is, yeah. There we go. Look, you
Yes,
named your cat after Castiel. You named your imposter syndrome after Jeff. This must cause so many problems for you.
I mean, I'm the cat one. Now I just get sad when I think of Cass, but
Oh.
I've got this cat one.
Hmm.
He's still asleep. It's just a lump of black fur
Oh,
on the bed.
bless him.
But I think imposter syndrome everyone experiences at some point.
Yeah.
And it can be crippling. I've got a story to post this week on AO3, and I haven't posted it yet because AO3 was down
Yeah.
for like 7 hours.
Mhm.
I know,
died.
right?
I was thinking of you then when you just said, like, what do I do when the power's out? Like, it was out for a
Right.
while. Yeah.
I cleaned my daughter's bedroom instead. But it's for a character this is the first time I've written him. It's for Clark Kent, Henry Cavill.
Mhm.
Oh.
That version, because I do like a bit of Henry Cavill. But anyway, so I've got this story I want to post this week, but it's a new character, and I'm so nervous because like people are going to hate it, they're not going to like it. Someone's going to come at me and tell me I've not written him right, and blah blah blah. And it's a constant thing in the back of your head, which I know all of my friends suffer with as well. So I'm not alone.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
You are never alone. It's yeah, crippling.
So once you did do that one reader insert, then were you like, this is the thing? And I guess my question too is because we had Becca on, and like Becca's almost like, reader insert it's just like, it's me. Where I think some people, I don't know if they approach it differently when they write reader insert or YN. Like, how do you approach it? Is it you?
I'll be honest. Writing reader inserts is easier because I don't have to come up with a name for my OC. I have nearly 1,000 fics. I could not have come up with that many individual names.
That's great. Oh,
and it's nice that I can write something. I try to be as inclusive as I can. I do take on board when people tell me that my language is not being inclusive of a fic. Like, I don't write people blushing anymore. I don't write she's got such and such hair, or I try and keep it. That's a blank slate. I want people to read my stories and be able to put them actual selves, if they want to, or whoever they've made up in their head, in my stories.
Right.
So I try and keep it as non-specific as I can, which gets easier as you go along, because you do have to learn what language is inclusive and what language is exclusive.
Right.
I find myself researching things, and I ask my friends, because I'm white. I've no experience of being anything other than white, and you have to ask people. And I'm fortunate enough to have friends who are people of color who will give me advice on writing, that sort of thing. I've also written one. A lady asked me to write a story for her. M2F, just a little one shot for her. As herself. I'd never written anything like that before, and I said to her, I'm really nervous about it, but if you give me the advice, I will do my best for you. And she loved it. I'd love to write more stuff like that, but people don't tend to ask for it anymore. I don't know whether it's because they don't feel like they can approach me, but I will try and write anything once. And if I've done a really bad job of it, I'd like someone to tell me.
Gotcha.
I love feedback. If I've written something in a language that's probably not suitable, because I have to figure these things out. I was a child of the 90s, and things that were said in the 90s were a lot more, a lot less constricted, I would say. Not constricted. Constricted is the wrong word. We used the wrong language in the 90s, and as I've got older, I've had to learn what was the wrong language.
Right. Yeah.
And that comes with writing as well. There are things that I will say in my fics that people sometimes don't understand because it is a phrase from a different time. Just like there's some fics today that I will read and I'll be like, and I will literally have to ask my 13-year-old.
Yeah.
And that's always embarrassing, isn't it? Going, babe.
I had to ask her what Riz was the other day, and she did not have an answer for me, so I still don't know what that means. If anyone knows what Riz means, let me know.
Riz. Oh, it's like it's like,
you don't know either.
No, I know.
Is it a positive thing? Is it a positive thing?
Yeah. It's like the energy that you put out like
Okay.
confidence and things like
Yeah,
that.
that makes sense.
I think.
But sometimes there's a bit of an exchange, because she came to me the other day and said, "It's Ohio, a real place."
So wait a minute, is it Riz with 2 Z's? Because it says style, charm, or attractiveness?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Riz.
charisma.
Oh, okay.
Charisma.
Oh.
Riz. There it is.
Now I
Charisma.
feel stupid.
No,
Oh.
no, none of us knew it. I had to go look the darn thing up. So
It's these are new phrases, but then I suppose my parents probably felt the same when I was walking around saying pucker in the 90s. So I actually had to explain that one to someone the other day. What's pucker mean? Well, it means good.
the reader insert and talking about kind of like stripping it away so that other people can feel like they're in it and be a part of it. Do you ever find yourself writing, how do I put this? Do you write reader insert? Have you ever started writing a reader insert and then felt like you had to give that character traits that it felt like it was going to become an original character for you? Did you ever run into that kind of a situation when you write?
Only with long fics. With a one shot, it's much easier.
Yeah.
Anything under 10K, it's like
that's what I feel too. Yeah, reader inserts I think kind of lend themselves to shorter stuff. At least I feel.
I don't think anyone's ever perfect in writing a reader insert, because you're always going to put pieces of yourself into the story.
Yeah.
A lot of my reader inserts, my character has anxiety, because anxiety has been a central force in my life for the last 25 years. So it's hard to get past that. But I've also found that most people on Tumblr have the same anxiety I do. So we're all in a little club.
And it all works out, because everyone's like, yes, everyone experiences that.
Yes.
Yeah.
But with series, it's definitely a harder thing. It's especially the one I'm writing at the moment, because the character I'm writing has an alcohol addiction and drug addiction. So obviously not everyone's going to have that experience of that. So I'm trying to write it in a way that's you're going through it with her, rather than you're just reading her experience, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But that includes writing all of the trauma that led her to... I've not been very nice to her, to be fair. I feel quite bad about it. I mean, the series is called Misery Loves Company, so that gives you a what it's like.
Yeah.
It's bleak. I'm trying hard for the happy ending, because everyone loves a happy ending. Well, not always. Sometimes I like it when everyone dies. It's, The Mist. That is a great bad ending.
That's traumatizing. That is.
It is. I kind of like when movies end like that. Don't Look Up, when everyone's dead anyway. But I enjoyed that. But maybe that's just the cynical part of me. Some of my fics, I write such bad endings that I then go and write an alternate good ending.
That's what I was going to ask, because I don't know if I've ever read anything of yours that seems like it's particularly like a bleak ending. So, I mean, do you do that? Like, do you kind of give yourself sort of like, here's maybe like how I would do it, but then do you want to just give everybody else the happy? Do you do that a bit?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it's from feedback. People are like, "Oh my god, could you write a happier ending to this? It's so sad." Which I have had happen a couple of times, and I've been like, "All right, just for you." But also because I'm quite sensitive to that feedback, and I don't like making people upset. So, but there's not many of my fics that have got a really truly bleak ending.
Right.
There's one. I don't even know if it's on AO3. I don't know if it's one of the ones that got swallowed up in the Great Tumblr Purge, and I had to put in the backup folder to update it at some point. But it was called Hero, and it's not on AO3, no. That was a story where the reader was sick, and she went to see Dean, sort of a goodbye, but she didn't tell him. So they had one last night together, and then he goes to find her afterwards, and all he gets is a gravestone. That's probably the bleakest fic I've ever written. It's not actually available to read anywhere on the internet at the moment. So
okay,
my actual soul hurts after that.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? You can see why it's not anywhere to be found.
To be fair, that's the kind of
kill everyone.
That's the kind of fic I would read in like quite a bad mental space, as like in a masochistic way. Be like, I'm sad, and this fic will make it 1,000 times worse. So I'm going to go and read this, and then I can be double sad. Like, you got to get all the sad out. I'm in a rush. I don't want to be sad for a week. If I can purge the sad in a couple of days, I will do. That's,
I think sometimes it's the mood you're in when you're writing it as well. If I've had a bad day or I'm in a bad headspace, killing myself in fiction is quite fun. Probably, I don't want to call it self-harm, but it's
a little bit. Yeah.
Cathartic is the word. Same as I can't fly in real life, but I'll wrap myself as Superman. I'll give it a go. You know, it's a way. Fan fiction and fiction in general can be a way to explore things you can't explore in real life.
Absolutely.
Like dragons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the last fic I posted on AO3. Was John is a dragon. That was yeah.
Love that.
Someone asked for that.
Dragons is popular. Dragons is popular.
How much of your stuff comes from, like, when you're writing, because you've got so much that you're talking about different stuff that you have coming out and posting and stuff. Does a lot of your stuff come from suggestions, or do you just have like a running list of stuff that you've all, like, you're like, at some point I'm going to do this, at some point I'm going to write this? Like, how much of it is suggested? How much of it is your list?
I never throw an idea away.
Okay.
To my detriment, I never throw an idea away. I should, really, because I've got so many ideas. Inspiration hits me at the most inconvenient times, usually about 2 o'clock in the morning when I'm trying to sleep on a school night. But there's, I mean, I have 3 separate folders on 3 separate files on Google Documents, which is one is what people have asked me to write. So that's usually through my form on Patreon.
Okay.
People will can request stories whenever they want. There's not a guarantee that I'll write it, but I don't ever throw an idea away, so it's always going to sit there. And I do work through them occasionally. If I can't think of anything right off my own back, or nothing's inspired me, then I'll just cherry pick from the list whatever feels good. But my ideas list, I haven't got it on here. I should have. Yeah, I've got a full list of ideas, which include some pretty interesting ones. These are all supernatural as well. I've always wanted to write another Mafia fic, because I did one that was House of the Rising Suns. That was fun to write, that one. But I've got other ones like
was that spelled SON? Like sun as in I've read that.
There's ones
broke my
like
fucking heart with that.
but I made it better.
You did make it better. You did make it better. That was not like, so, like that was not like a that was not a complaint. That was just like, it's really good writing. My heart was emotional. It was real.
But you probably get a little bit of enjoyment knowing that you broke people's hearts. I mean, I think that's a part of writing too, is that knowing that it's affected people in that way.
Being able to make anyone feel anything is a privilege. It's, when you've got people in your life, you know you love them, you know they love you. But somehow when a stranger from 6,500 miles away gives you validation on a 5,000 word smut fic, it's a bit like, oh, I'm out. I've done something for someone. I've cheered their day up a bit. You know?
Yeah, absolutely. It hits different, doesn't it? There's just like a connection there that you can't really achieve in any other way.
Yeah.
That person took the time out of what they were doing to do that for you, like, to let you know, like, to make that connection, right? Like, so it's a lot different than within your circle, like your everyday or whatever, like knowing that you touch somebody in a way that they wanted to let you know, however that is, whether it was the hottest smut you've ever written, or that you ripped their heart out, or, I mean, and to know, I mean, that's kind of why, like, you're iconic, I think, in Reader Insert and just in general, because you've done that for so many people over such a long period of time, that there's, you've made that connection, or you've touched people in your writing in a lot of different ways. That's extraordinary. That's an amazing thing,
And there's that imposter syndrome again.
Yeah, but I mean, that's the thing. But but it doesn't.
Tell him a fuck off.
Yeah, tell Jeff he needs to go away for a little while. Jeff. Bye, Jeff. Not JDM, just Jeff. But because I just know Casey's got a list, and this is like
a list. I've got a whole fucking server now.
right. Yeah, you do. You've got a whole thing. But like I tend not to do that as much. Like I tend to like wait until the fic really starts to form in my brain. So I always find it interesting. How can I ask how many pages your list is? Like, is it, or do you have like it numbered?
My ideas list.
Mhm.
At the moment, there's about 17 ideas on my request list.
Okay.
My fic ideas document is currently 23 pages long.
What about how many? 23?
Yeah.
Wow.
You need a
What have I got
Discord.
here? I've got. This was a really weird idea I had. That Dean notices is in an alternate universe because the numbers on phone pads are vertical rather than horizontal before anything else. I don't understand what I'm going to do with that. I didn't want to throw it away because it sounded really interesting.
Do you tend to, I mean, with your ideas, do a lot of them sometimes go together? Like you start to see how different ideas can form a story and you kind of pull them together? Mm.
Absolutely. There's quite a few times where people have requested things and I've gone, oh, that'd go really well with that. Is it all right if I combine those? And they're like, yeah, crack on. But I mean, my posting schedule at the moment is done up till the next year. One fic a week.
Bloody hell.
And there is a mixed bag. We've got Hunter Corp Sam.
Tell me more.
Quite a bit of Butcher in there. I think that one is she meets Hunter Corp Sam in a bar and she thinks it's her Sam, but it's not. I think. Don't quote me on it. You'll find out in March.
I will indeed.
I can't post them all in one go. I'd run out of stuff to post.
Yeah.
A lot of people have been asking me for more Buffy than anything else recently. So I've been trying to write my own supernatural ideas just to keep, the OG going.
Yeah.
I've had quite a lot of Soldier Boy requests.
He's interesting to write for.
The longer things I've been finding difficult to write lately is trying to keep focused on the longer stories. The longest thing I've written is a 4-parter that I've finished because there's lots of stuff that's not finished that's a lot longer. I have a pirate Winchester's fic that's like 10 chapters long and I never finished it, and I wish I had because I'm really proud of what I wrote so far.
Is that the one? Is Jensen who's the captain? Is Dean the captain?
Dean, I think. Yeah. I haven't looked at it in ages, and I'm worried if I look at it now.
I feel like I remember that one, and that because I remember.
Yeah, I didn't get to finishing it because I've made it since I wrote that, because I wrote that and started publishing it, and I was like, I can't finish this, and that's why I started publishing it, and now I feel really, really guilty. So I don't post anything until it's 100% completed now. Just so I don't let people down.
Right. Yeah.
And get them hooked on something and then I never finish it. I will procrastinate on that shit until it's too late.
Yeah, no, I get that.
I would appreciate if you wouldn't keep thrusting junkies in my face like that, Ray. I'm very upset about that. It'll get finished eventually. Every part of that I've posted has been completed when I've posted it. The fact that the series is not complete is utterly irrelevant.
Well, I think that's fine. I mean, it sounds like, Reed, you don't, like, you do really more stories rather than, at least I think I've noticed, than, like, do you do a lot of series stuff?
I mean, I've got a lot of series on AO3. We've got, the series button just says, it's laid out differently. I've got 17 series on there.
Okay.
But one of them's a Sinful Sunday thing. So, my God, how many warnings are on that? All day. Okay, I've never actually looked at that. But like long multi-chaptered fics, I've got quite a few of them. It's just the last year or so, committing to anything or finishing anything longer is because there's 3 fics I have that are long fics that I want to finish because I want to share them with people and I'm excited about sharing them with people. 2 of them are supernatural because one of them's a Bucky fic. More weird werewolf stuff. But one of them's a high fantasy SBN alternate universe fic,
Okay.
Ooh.
where Dean and Sam are princes and the dad's the king. Yeah, they're similar, like mum died, blah blah blah, all that stuff, but in like high fantasy medieval setting,
Yeah.
magic and shit.
Yeah.
Love
Um,
that.
and I really enjoy writing it, but I haven't finished it yet. That one's at about 30,000 words. And
That's a lot,
it's
yeah.
a very, very slow burn, like the slowest burn you could possibly have. But then it ends up as a threesome. So,
Yeah, it's worth waiting for then. Worth waiting for.
yeah,
A Winchester threesome or a Winchester sandwich threesome? Is that different?
Winchester sandwich.
Okay, those are
Love
good.
Sandra far prefers the sandwich threesomes to the shower, right?
Yeah, I don't mind Winchester, but I don't really read or write much of it as I used to.
Yeah, sometimes it goes that way, doesn't it? I used to, when I started, I like only wrote reader insert stuff and then kept eyeballing Winchester and reading more and more and more Winchester. And eventually I was like, oh, I'm going to have to fucking give it a go, aren't I?
I can't remember what I was going to say now. She's gone. That just stuff out my head. That was threesomes, and people request them a lot. And at some point, you have to go, look, I know they're fun to read. They're not so much fun to write because logistics. And it gets repetitive. There's only so much you can do with tab A, slot B, and tab C.
Yeah.
It's, you have to. But then again, as soon as I say that to people, they then go, can you write? I thought, no, I can't write 4 of them. That's even worse.
That's even more limbs. Do you realise that? Like, you think I've written exactly one threesome and swore I would never write it again, and I'm now planning to write a second one, but that's completely irrelevant.
Oh goodness!
But you do think you're like, it's just one extra person. This is fine. I can do this. But your brain lies to you, and it goes, it's just one extra person, and then you're like, yes, but that's 2 extra arms and 2 extra legs and 1 extra genital that I have to keep track of, and that's a lot more than just one person.
We can't not talk about the fact that, I mean, Omegaverse, like you were my first resource and introduction. Like I remember going onto your Tumblr and like your little tab about what is an alpha. And I was like, what is this? What are we talking about here? And then going in and then reading about Omegaverse.
I should really update that sometime because I've changed my rules so many times.
Well, that's what I was going to say. What drew you to that concept? Like, what was it? Like, when did you come across one of it was like, oh, this is a thing and I'm going to write this? Like, what drew you to it?
Horror novels when I was about 14. Werewolf stories. So I don't know, someone asked me to write it and I went, yeah, why not? And it was popular. And it's there's an aspect of my own personality creeping in there because I love the loss of control. And there's also like the other cultural relations to it, like things in Star Trek, like the Pomfar. That sort of animal level thinking is it's intriguing to write. I like exploring the human condition and putting it in different places. It's a new challenge to write.
Yeah,
but it was definitely popular. A lot of people were asking to write it back then.
It just seems like a very popular, still very popular, like topic.
It's becoming more mainstream popular now in original fiction.
Yeah.
Oh god, there's actually a TV series they're doing with it in.
What?
Have you not heard about that? I think it's Korean. I don't know. I saw an advert for it.
Oh, bloody hell.
Someone else was mocking it and they were like, it's the actual TV show they're doing. And
wow.
I was like,
no.
you can't put that out. It's bad enough it's on TikTok.
No, you can't put that out into the actual...
Stop.
No, that's not for outside people. That's for... No.
It's... I don't know. I don't understand how the world is simultaneously becoming more prudish, yet more erotic. And those two things are not meshing. Right.
It's a problem. We've got questions,
it's
lads.
Puritanism versus werewolf porn. What are we supposed to do?
No. Lord. No, that's upsetting. That can't be allowed.
I mean,
Because
my parents didn't protect me at all, and this is where we are, okay?
yeah.
I had
Yep.
no supervision on the internet. We
Yep.
didn't have phones with apps and stuff when I was 12, but I mean, she doesn't do Instagram or TikTok or Facebook or any of that. She's not interested in that. I'm terrified of the day she discovers fan fiction. Because she knows my screen name.
Oh no, that's a problem.
It's concerning. But yeah, I had no restriction on the internet, and I did see things I should not have seen at the tender age of 13. Mostly, LiveJournal was a strange place for a teenager. I've probably seen more fairy art than anyone ever needs to see. And now I'm on Reddit, which is no better. So,
well, yeah, we've had discussions about this too, though. Like, if there was a choice between like, say, fan fiction or porn that your child would get exposed to, like, do you feel like
fan fiction?
Yeah.
Yep. 1,000 bajillion %.
Yeah. Because I feel that there's, I don't know, it's there. I've always thought of the writing too as, like, it kind of like shields you in a way where, like, only your imagination can do so much. You can be very graphic and stuff in fan fiction and stuff, but there's a care. Usually there's a care in the characters and there's a care in the writing, or there's just an exploration in it that just feels safer and doesn't feel exploitive in a way that I think will mess with a child's head when you're talking about porn. In my, like, I don't know, maybe I should say, like, traditional porn or whatever, like like the stuff I remember, like, finding or coming across. It's much different than what I think fan fiction provides people for outlets and stuff.
Fan fiction provides, most of the time, it's a complex relationship in between the characters. It's more explanatory, more exploratory of a relationship and the sort of things that happen in a relationship. With porn, it's unrealistic. There's beauty standards that about 99% of people are never going to attain.
Yeah.
It's all performative. There's no deeper meaning to any kind of porn.
Yeah.
With fan fiction, it could be the dirtiest piece of filth, and I know I've written them, but still have the feeling behind it. There's more humanity in it, than there is in traditional pornography. And traditional pornography pulls the shit out of me. So, fan fiction, my imagination is 10 times better than anything porn I could come up with.
We'll hope Kitten of Doomage does not get found by a 13-year-old anytime soon. But still, that might be an easy, like, hey, we have to have the sex talk. Here you go, and then let me know if you have questions. If there,
I will say,
I wanted to ask though, if there was one, like, if there was one fic, you're like, if they came across it, I'd be okay, or I think this would be.
Taboo.
Would there be one?
Yeah, Taboo.
Okay.
Taboo would, if she found that, I'd probably get reports. No, I probably wouldn't be. But yeah, I just she knows that I write fantasy stories for adults. That's what she needs to know. It doesn't help when she relays that information to her teachers at school, but thankfully they all think I write stuff like 50 Shades of Grey. So it's slightly more acceptable than it was 20 years ago to say I'm an adult author.
Do you not advertise? I mean, as much like about being an adult author, like, do you try to have sort of like a compartmentalize that aspect of it, like, from, like, quote unquote the real world, or how does that work for you?
I used to, but then I developed this intense disdain for most of the general public. I don't go outside very much. The only people I really interact with are the people that I really, really care about. So there's about 3 friends and about 25 people in America on Discord.
Yep.
I think once upon a time maybe I wouldn't have told people what I do for a living, but now I just don't care. As I've got older, it's like I do this. It brings people happiness.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not paying my bills, but I enjoy it. And I mean, one of my husband's friends who lives in Nebraska, he even signed up to my Patreon for a
Yeah.
few weeks.
Uh,
I was having palpitations every time I saw that something to do with Omegaverse landed in his inbox. He didn't read any of it. Truthfully, I think he might have had a conniption, bless him. But yeah, I mean, one of my friends, she's like, whenever I write something for The Witcher, she's like, yeah, you need to email that to me. She lives in the same town as me. She's like, I need that email now. So I don't feel any shame in it these days. My husband's family all know what I do. My mum knows what I do. My brother knows what I do. He just thinks it's funny. He is on Tumblr, but he uses it for very different male reasons.
Yeah.
Can't think what those might be.
No idea. I just don't. I don't know. Ugh.
I've heard vague rumours about that side of Tumblr. Never been there. Don't think it exists.
I mean, I think 50% of it's cats. He's always showing me cat videos.
Oh,
look at this cute cat. We're not getting another cat. No more cats.
That's the start of a conversation. Going, look, I found another cat. We're going to call this one
no one's allowed
Teddy
to do
2.
that. No.
So
no more cats.
yeah, a little bit about like your Patreon, if you're willing to like talk about it. Like, when did you set that up? Like, what's different about that as opposed to like, say, what people can find on like AO3 or Tumblr? Like, is there?
I mean, all of it ends up on AO3 anyway. I don't put the price up too high because it is just a hobby. And I don't expect anyone to join up to it because everyone gets the fix eventually anyway. Mostly it's a few friends of mine asked if I would set it up so they could help out. We were having a bit of financial trouble. And it does help with a few things over the month, mostly what my daughter needs. And it's not by any chance going to make me rich at all unless I, by miracle, manage to finish this novel. And it's good. But we
already know it's good.
Yeah.
Stop.
Jeff needs to go away.
Yeah, this is not the time, Jeff. This is the time where we hype and we support, and we already know the novel's good.
Yeah,
when we're sending positive vibes that you can finish it, and it's going to be a humongous success, and we'll be like, we were on the ground floor for that. Don't forget us when you're famous.
It's an early access thing, so and everyone, but it's more people can ask for whatever. I'll write whatever they want me to. And sorry, my earbud's falling out, and I'm terrified I'm going to turn it off if I push it back in.
Okay.
No, I didn't. But it's and I've got an exclusive Discord where people can chat to me about things, and if they need any help with their writing or they want to put a picture idea to me or anything.
Nice.
And there's not very many people on it, but it's something to give me focus, and it also helped me quit the very toxic office job that was making my health 20 times worse.
Oh, that's nice.
I have a condition called sarcoidosis, which means sometimes I just can't fucking breathe. It's swelling of the alveoli in your lungs, so my lungs fill up with themselves.
Okay. Oh, bloody hell!
It makes holding down a job impossible, to be honest with you. So it's nice to have a little bit of focus. Something on something that isn't childcare, because otherwise my life is childcare and housework, and that gets a bit dull.
Just a little bit.
There's only so many TV series you can watch and movies and stuff. So writing it's my full-time hobby, I call it.
Right. Yeah.
It's not going to make me rich. Well, maybe it will. I don't know. But right now it's a focus that isn't life-centered. So to speak, if that makes sense.
Well, it's not like I guess the survival aspect of it isn't like necessarily like, oh, I've got to do this thing just because I have to get through the day. Now you're given the chance to kind of do something that you enjoy, which I think is kind of like everybody's goal in life. Like, we know we have to work. That's not the question. It's just being able to kind of do something that you like doing some of the time to make some funds would be, probably,
I mean, if I had a talent in anything else that I could monetize, my mum's the painter. I'm all right at drawing, but I don't ever think I'm that good. I'm not good enough to share it anyway. I've sometimes dabbled in drawing pictures for my fics, and I drew a really bad picture of Jensen the other day. Really,
I'm sure it wasn't bad.
My friend said, "You can tell it's him at least."
Yeah, exactly.
You can tell it's him. Oh goodness.
Yeah, it's just it gives me a bit of dignity.
Yeah, absolutely.
I've done the work for that, and it's just a little bit of dignity. Making use of the talent I have. When Jeff's not causing a problem.
Yeah, absolutely, Jeff. Jeff needs to sit down. I think it says a lot too about having a wonderful community that like loves what you do. You know what I mean? And then knowing that, you know, you're like you said, you're doing things for others. Like that's a great job to have, you know? Like that's a great to make people happy, you know? Like that's nice. That's nice to have that opportunity. Or make people sad, but then make them happy. But give them
I've literally had people go, "Hurt me, please."
Yeah.
Okay. I might regret that.
Yeah, that's a bit too much of an open invitation. You're going to need to specify.
Yeah, but I do it
shit.
to Becca though. When Becca messages me and she's like, "Oh, I'm writing this super angsty story and I don't know how to end it," and I'll just type back in all caps, "Kill them all." Just
you know, sometimes that's valid though. Sometimes that is a valid. It's not something I can write because I have a pathological need for happy endings. But I can read it.
But you can kill them. I mean, there's a way. I don't know. I think you can kill and still make it work sometimes. Like I like the alternate ending idea. I think that's always great too. Like a choose your own adventure kind of an opportunity sometimes for people who are reading.
I participated in one of those years ago.
Did you?
Choose your own adventure fic writing challenge.
I
still got the part I wrote on. I can't remember who did it though.
Is it on Tumblr? Did they do this on Tumblr?
Some of it is. It was on Tumblr, yeah, but it was. I'm going back years.
Okay.
It was definitely called Choose Your Own Supernatural Adventure or something like that.
I feel like I remember seeing like a blog that had something like that.
I lost my shoe. I don't know what happened to her. She was a great writer. I lost my shoe.
Well, that's one of my questions too. Like, who are some of your like favorite like SPN fanfic authors over the years? I mean, maybe somebody that we could still find their stuff as well.
I haven't actually been reading all that much.
I don't know why. You seem to have plenty of time. You should be able to read. My goodness. Come on.
We're rubbing off on you, Sandra. There's too much British snark in the Zoom, and Sandra's like, fucking step up. I
can't help it. I'm hearing a lot of Yorkshire in your.
All right.
I mean, all right.
I read a lot of Becca's fics anthology.
Yeah.
Whenever she posts something, I'm like, "Oh, Becca posted," and I'll go read it. Her favorite fic of mine is she's good. I don't know if she'll kill me eventually, but Good Vibrations.
Good Vibrations.
Oh,
okay.
That's a killer of a fic. It's dark. It's real dark. But that's how I like it. And the one I mentioned earlier, Easter Nowhere by Clever Dame. She disappeared off the face of the planet one day. Don't know what happened to her, but that was a stunning fic. Stunning fic, that one. And let me go in my bookmarks. I've got in here. Don't tell me I've got no internet, you liar. That's Henry Cavill. Won't stand for it. It's a Dean fic by someone who deleted, but it's actually in an archive on Archive for Our Own by Ren's Erotic Library.
Okay.
Oh yeah,
I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great fic. That's one I read repeatedly. Oh, these are all Winchester.
If it's not too much trouble, could you email these links over?
Yes, yeah, I can definitely email two of them. I don't know if I'll be able to find.
No, that's fine. Yeah.
No, that like
one, but
those ones, please. Thank you.
Yeah.
You're the bestest.
Do you find that you like to read stuff that's a little bit different than what you tend to write?
Nah. No, I'll read and write dark.
Okay.
I love a dark fic.
Okay.
The Bright Lights of Disturbia, that's another one. That's a Winchester fic, and that is 373,000 words.
Oh God.
Bloody hell.
That's a good fic, though. But yeah, I tend to read the darker stuff. I love angst. Just make me cry. It's a good feeling to get a good cry out of a story.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure you were the one that commented on Junkies that I made you late because you couldn't stop reading it.
Oh my God, I couldn't stop putting that. I just didn't want to put it down. I was like, I need to go get my kid from school. and I just want to read the last bit.
That was honestly, that's up there with like one of the best comments I've ever had. I was like, oh my God, because I've been there going, I've got time. Fuck, I'm late. I did not have time.
Yeah. Oh, are there what's like one of your favorite fics of yours that you've ever written?
Mine, I mean, Left Behind has a very special place in my heart. There's a John long fic. One of the first long fics I've written, actually. It's actually one of my most viewed on AO3.
Okay.
Aside from Taboo, Taboo is one of my favorites. Blood and Honey is another one I quite enjoyed writing.
I had that was like my next one that I had. I'd seen it, and but ended up like didn't have time, but I like went through Ironheart, like just finished. But that's on my Kindle. I've downloaded that to read next.
Sandra, link me to
I will. And that Blood and Honey is definitely supposed to be darker, right? Like that's a darker.
Yeah, but it's got a happy.
Does it have a happy?
Yes.
Okay, good. All right. That's good. It
starts out very dark but gets progressively lighter. Mostly because the reader becomes as twisted as they are, but that's a good thing.
Well, it's nice when everybody realizes they're all twisted and it works that way, you know?
Yeah.
That's helpful.
They're so hot you can overlook it. Oh, you're serial killers. Never mind. You're nice to look at.
Yeah, exactly. I read it in a fic. It's one of my favorite fics. But if you're gonna be like all weird and fucked up and incestuous with your brother, it's good to have all your sex shit in a line as well. So, you know, if shit's gonna be fucked up, it's good if everything lines up in all the same fucked up vein.
Honestly, I don't know why people make such a fuss about it. Game of Thrones exists, right? It was on TV, and then you're upset that it's happening in fiction.
Yeah. We just had a recording with Jackie Jinkies, would you look at this? And just like, you know, how like in Gothic, you know, a lot of Gothic literature, I mean, it's just like, you know, incest is a thing. Like, it's just like, there's just history with that. And I mean, we always, I think Kasey agrees with me on this. Like, the boys are mythical anyway, in and of themselves. So it kind of just lends itself to this kind of like, almost like, you know, mythology kind of stuff, you know, that it's like, it's not your everyday situation that they're going through, this context of their life in general. So it kind of like, it makes sense, you know, to me in some ways. Like, I don't know why everything's a really big deal about that. But I mean, it's been around. Stuff happens. It's not like this is a new thing. But yeah, it's always interesting. I
mean, I don't get hate about it anymore. I had a few messages every now and then, Joe, you're going to hell, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, right. Send me a seat. I'll be on Crowley's lap.
Now, again, the same ex that ruined the same ex that ruined Buffy for me told me so many times that there was a special place in hell reserved for me, that if I get there and there isn't one, I'm going to be really angry about this because I've already decided how I'm going to decorate it and everything. So, like, carve out a space. I'm expecting a specific space for me when I get there.
Yeah, I don't have any moral qualms about what I write. I'll write. Well, there are things I won't write, but mostly because it's gross.
Yeah.
What are they?
I don't do bodily fluids.
Oh, okay.
I just don't do bodily fluids. It's just not my thing. In real life or in fiction.
Valid.
But other than that, I don't know, my hard limits are pretty much the general hard limits. I don't even have my limits are probably more than George R.R. Martin's. I'll say that. If that man didn't have limits, doesn't have limits, still alive, isn't he?
Mm.
He's still writing that last book.
Yeah, we're still
Has
waiting.
he got a Jeffrey?
Who knows? No, I don't. Well, he seems to be doing other stuff. Like that's again, like
Yeah, no, I feel that.
yeah, like he just
I should be
can't
doing this, but
he
I'm
just
doing
can't
this.
get around to that one. Yeah, so I don't know that he's got a gem. But yeah,
No,
the meme
I'm
when
convinced.
you're like writing one idea and another idea sneaks in. That's
No,
my life.
I am absolutely convinced that the Winds of Winter is sitting on his desk. It's the whole manuscript is there. It's sitting on his desk, and it's got a little post-it note on it, and it says release date. And every time someone asks him when it's coming out, he scratches out last date and has another week on.
Do you know what I think?
Convinced.
I think he's going to have it published after he's dead, so he hasn't got to deal with the fallout.
Yeah, that's also an option. But doesn't he have?
Yeah.
He has another one. Like he has another book after it planned. So is he just going to leave it unfinished? Maybe that's next to Winds of Winter. Maybe that's sat there as well.
maybe.
I haven't finished reading the last one, Feast of Crows. Is that the last one? I don't remember.
I think it was the
Dance
Dance
of
of Dragons. I think was the last one. Yeah.
I find it really hard to read traditional books now. I think I've been spoiled by fan fiction. Because sometimes people who write fan fiction, they spend a lot more time getting to know their characters, even the ones that are already established.
Yeah.
And with a book, I've got to get to know a whole bunch of new characters. And I'm going to say something that may possibly be controversial now. I tried to read the Witcher books. Oh my god, they're so boring.
I've never read them.
The Witcher. Well, I'll say I love the first 2.5 seasons of The Witcher. I have not watched the last of the third season because I don't ever want Henry Cavill to stop being Geralt. So if I don't watch it, he doesn't.
He doesn't. Yeah. That was certainly an interesting choice on the production team there.
So I tried reading the books, and there was like 35 pages of just dialogue, and I was like, "Who said this was good?" Because if I wrote 35 pages of just dialogue, people would tell me to get in the bin.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. This is my issue with Stephen King. Like, I mean, do a description, babe. Absolutely do a description, but that is too much description. Just
the only Stephen King book I got all the way to the end of without being bored to tears was Dreamcatcher.
Oh, really?
It's the only one I've watched all the way through.
I tried to read Carrie because it's one of the shorter ones, and it's only about 200 and some pages, and that's still tapped out in the middle.
Dean Koontz was better, a bit more fucked up, but
yes,
yeah. Funhouse was the first book of his I read. I was about 15. Whew.
Yeah, I was reading Dean Koontz around that age as well. James Herbert is my guy. If we're talking about Masters of Horror, Herbert over King. Sorry.
And I had a bunch of Black Lace books. I don't know if you know what those are.
No.
They're adult stories. They're literally like the sort of books you'd find in Anne Summers.
Oh, like
nice.
like a Red Shoe Diaries kind of a thingy? Like
yeah.
Okay.
There was a whole publishing company called Black Lace, and they published all these books. They did like short stories and longer stories, and I've got 2 of them on the shelf up there. And, I've always preferred the written word for it came to things like that, rather than pictures. Pictures are boring. And bodily fluids. Ew.
Ew, no, absolutely not.
Well, like I think like we were saying before, like you can self-edit, right? Like in your brain, like you can choose what you're deciding to see, or like in your brain, like if you're reading something, and I think that allows for a lot more control of a situation. So I think that's why sometimes reading that stuff is reading adult stuff. I think is I just find it better in my brain. Like you can get as explicit as you want, even if somebody's writing explicit. It doesn't mean you're like you said, all the bodily fluids and stuff like that. It's just not happening. Yeah. I agree with the bodily fluids.
It's just icky. That's just no. That is literally peak reason of fan fiction. I don't have to write the bodily fluids. I don't have to read about the bodily fluids. And I don't have to wash the sheets after the bodily fluids. Perfection.
Oh my gosh. We could probably talk to you for another hour. We're gonna try to wrap this up soon. I have a couple more questions, and then Kasey's got some questions.
Could we coax you back to talk more though?
Yeah, if you'd ever come, would you ever consider coming back for another chat?
Yeah, okay. Absolutely.
Awesome.
Brilliant. I was like, hopefully we haven't scared you to death. And you're like, I'm never doing a fucking podcast ever again.
No. I think we've been good. Particular fandoms, like Kasey and I talk a lot about, and I think you mentioned a little bit too, how you've got like other requests for different fandoms and stuff. So because you do so many, are you noticing like sort of a decline or a resurgence in particular fandoms like right about now?
I mean, Tumblr. I've noticed the decline on Tumblr, but I used to worry a lot about notes and reblogs and everything like that, and I sort of trained myself to stop worrying about it because it was just another layer of anxiety that I couldn't cope with.
Right.
And I only talk to 2 or 3 people on Tumblr daily now, one of whom is Becca. She probably thinks I'm stalking her at this point. But I mean, there's definitely a popularity in the Marvel fandom at the moment. But then they're always bringing out new content. It doesn't seem like it's ever going to die.
Yeah.
So there's always sort of I follow a lot of blogs that do it. I do a lot of Marvel stuff now as well. So I think it's very much, times are trendier than they used to be. Something used to stay popular for like 2 years, 3 years. Some stuff was on there for 10 years, but it'd still be popular.
Yeah.
Lost, for example, that should have ended way sooner. But nowadays, with social media and TikTok and all these new things going, the focus is changing every other day, and it's hard to keep, especially when you've got things like Squid Game dropping a whole season in one go. And it's like the interest is there for about 5 minutes, and you're like, "I'll write this," and then by the time you finish it, no one wants to read it. I found that a lot, especially with some of the newer, more emerging fandoms, because when Supernatural was first airing, and when it was airing up to the end, really, you had to wait the next week, and there was something to talk about all week, and you could pick apart the episode, and then you had the next one the next week.
Yeah,
it was a continual rolling ball of content.
Yeah.
And now you don't get that as much. The only things that are on weekly is shit like Love Island. I hate reality TV with a passion.
Yeah.
I don't actually have TV channels anymore. I won't pay for them because it's a load of tosh. It's just adverts. And the stuff that comes out nowadays, sometimes you'll get a real gem. What was it I watched? I never remember what I watched. I'm getting to that age now where I watch something really good and the next day it's gone. There's a series out at the moment called From, which has got Harold. I can't remember his last name now. I think it begins with P. It's a series called From. That's the one. It's a series called From.
Okay.
And it's so batshit crazy, but it hooks you, and you want to know what happens. And I found myself talking to my mum about that, and it's nice to have that, even with my mum.
Yeah,
it's nice to talk about that. And I experienced it again a few weeks ago. I was watching True Blood for the first time. Don't know how I skipped out on that one. But I was talking to everyone on Discord about it. Like, I can't believe this has just happened. They've all seen it, so they're like, "Oh no, I just need to see this bit. Just need to see this bit." And it was really exciting. And sometimes I really miss that.
Yeah.
And it's like the culture we have now is consume and move on.
Yeah.
And we need to go back to the participation part of the audience now.
Right.
We need that back. We need that whole community back on Tumblr. I don't think The Purge helped in 2018.
Right.
Because let's face it, we're all filthy.
And look at what they did. They just brought Tumblr Live and everything back. It's like, make up your mind, people. Like, that thing was a whole, like, what was that all about? I thought they got back. Did they bring it back and just make it a different name? Because I thought that they got rid of, I distinctly remember they got rid of it on like Dean's birthday one year. And I was like, Dean would, I was like happy about it. But did they bring it back in some other form? Because I feel like they got rid of it.
I've only been on Tumblr once today, so.
Okay. It might be too because I do actually pay for Tumblr without ads. I do that. Like I pay for it like once a year, and I'm just like, I just don't want to have to like, have ads all over the place. So I do pay for that. That's the one thing I do on Tumblr. What about then the Supernatural fandom? Like, were you expecting it to still like be hanging on?
I mean, I don't think, I'm much like most of the characters in Supernatural, I don't think it will ever truly die. It's Supernatural's kept alive by the fact that it touched so many people's lives.
Right.
Just from my own personal experience, Supernatural got me through the end of my marriage. It got me through a lot of heartache, and I don't want to say heartache because I was kind of happy when he left. But it was a comfort thing.
Life changes.
Yeah. it's comforting, and it was on so long that you knew the characters inside and out. Even if you didn't write or read fan fiction, you knew the characters, and
you got to grow with them. I think that was what was great about that show.
I mean, how old would I have been? 2005, so I would have been 19. So I would have only been slightly younger than Sam when it started. So yeah, and I think also because we grew with Jensen and Jared. I grew up, I had a family. They've grown up, had families, and they keep it alive as well and that's so lovely. The passion they still have for a show that ended nearly 5 years ago. The fact that they're still going to conventions and they're still doing things for fans, and it's you don't get more dedication than you do out of Jensen and Jared. So first, I've never seen a love for an audience and for their fans like they've displayed. In any show, really. I mean, you see it to a degree in Star Trek now,
right?
Because conventions are more popular now.
But it took time for that to happen, right?
It's Supernatural impacted culture, and for a show that probably not many people I knew at least had heard of, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Because it is a cult show. It is, but it's also a cultural phenomenon.
Yeah.
I said that for the first time. Wow. I'm glad we're recording this. I've never said now I can't say it.
We've got it. Don't worry. We've got it recorded.
It's on record. It's on record.
So yeah, it has dropped off somewhat because it's over, obviously. But I don't think it'll ever truly go away. It will never. I mean, I fully intend to still be here when I'm 80 years old writing Dean Smart. So you know, I will carry on for the good folks in my nursing home, because they probably won't let me on the internet at that point. So I'll just
oh my gosh, what are you going to be doing? Are you just going to be are you just going to be typing it up? Yeah, how are you going to are you going to do a reading?
Typing, because I can't be. I've got carpal tunnel. I can't write shorthand anymore. So.
Oh gosh, it's funny.
But yeah, no, I'm fully intent. I will never stop writing. I love it too much, and I love sharing it with people too much. I've thought about quitting before in my dark moments when there's very little interaction and no one wants to talk to me. You've all had those. But no, I'll always write. I don't ever intend on stopping unless someone breaks my wrists and takes my brain out. Then you might be a little bit screwed.
Yeah, I was going to say they'd have to take the brain because speech to text exists. Like you'd have to get someone to beta it, obviously. But
I mean, if they come up with the technology that will keep my brain working after I'm dead, and they'll still crank out fan fiction.
There we go.
Love it.
That would be my purpose. Head in a jar, writing fan fiction. There you go.
Oh my gosh, that's great, Kasey. I'm gonna let you ask your questions.
Alrighty. I'm gonna scroll down. Can't remember my own goddamn questions.
Yeah, there's still stuff that we would love to have you back.
We'd love to have you back.
Yeah,
we have so many questions. So it's totally fine if you don't want to share, but well, I'm always interested. Where did you come up with your username?
Oh, it's a boring story. It's not even really a story.
That's all right.
When I was younger, so I can't remember any of my original screen names because I've had this one for so long. It was my Xbox username first. It was only Kitten of Doom. Because I had a cat who was just destroying everything at the time. A kitten called Honey. She's not with us anymore, bless her. She's a very long time ago. So she was destroying everything, and I just kept calling her the Kitten of Doom. And when I got an Xbox, I went, "That's a great username." And then it just sort of evolved from there. And I can't be able to come up with everything new, and that's kind of what I'm known as now. So dumped myself into that one, really.
That's real cute, though.
That is cute. It's cute.
I think it helps as well that it's not fandom specific. Unless you're a cat.
No, and it has a little bit of an animal bent to it anyway. So I think, you really are known for the Omegaverse stuff. So I kind of think, Kitten of Doomage kind of helps. Got the claws out and stuff. Yeah, like a little bit.
Yeah, it's hella cute. I love it. I
like that. That's very nice.
Okay. This one, it depends if you have listened to any podcasts, because we know you've got an absolute wealth of free time. You've got nothing else going on, just time to sit and listen to podcasts all day. But this one has nothing to do with supernatural or fanfic or writing or anything else. But adults don't ask other adults this question enough, and I'm on a one mortal mission to change that. So, Brie, what is your favorite dinosaur?
Triceratops. And I have a reason for it being Triceratops, because Jurassic Park was the first movie I ever saw at cinema. When I was 7, I was obsessed with dinosaurs. I had dinosaur bed sheets. I had a cuddly dinosaur who was a Triceratops, and he was called Bill, and he was blue. So Triceratops is my answer.
Oh, that's cute. That's so cute.
That is also my favorite dinosaur.
I really loved dinosaurs. I still love Jurassic Park movies, to be fair. I got really excited when the trailer for the new one came out the other day. I was like, dinosaurs and Scarlett Johansson?
Yes, please. Wait, Scarlett Johansson's in the new?
Yes, in Jurassic World Rebirth. Yes.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
Watch the trailer.
And she's playing a badass.
Yes. Fuck yes. I love that. Well, now, in your daily life, go ask your people what is their favorite dinosaur. Let's get more people thinking about their favorite fucking dinosaurs. Because after about 10, important. Nobody asks you anymore. And that's bullshit.
Have you ever written a dinosaur fic?
No.
Okay.
Closest I've been is Dragon or Mermaid.
That's what I was going to say, yeah. Okay. You should get Sam and Dean into, some dinosaur business.
Can you imagine the chaos?
I can.
Sent me back 4 million years in time.
I can only imagine. I just think about Dean going, "It's a lizard, Sam. It tastes like a lizard."
That lives. I reblogged it on Tumblr the other day.
Great.
That lives rent free in my head.
That's great.
No, Sam, it's a lizard.
It tastes
like a lizard.
Oh boy, this has been great. I'm so excited that we got the chance to talk to you. Before we let you go, I usually like to end it just like with the questions for like fellow writers and different things. But like anybody who's dealing with their own Jeff, what would you say to them if they're having a tough time writing, or maybe like they're in a slump, or maybe they just don't, maybe they're dealing with imposter syndrome? What kind of words of wisdom would you leave them
Play
with?
Stardew Valley for 5 minutes. It sometimes, writer's block, it's as simple as a case of you can either force yourself through it and stare at that document until the words come, or you just go do something else. Put it down. Walk away. Do something else. Do something fun. Do something productive. Do housework with loud music on. You can't. Sometimes you have to wait for the inspiration to come to you. It's not a case of chasing it down. It is a fickle mistress, and it sometimes takes a distraction. I mean, for me, that is playing Stardew Valley, which is a great little game. It's really fun and it's really cheap.
And
it takes your mind off things. Yeah. And don't ever try not to be disappointed in yourself when you don't write, because there's always tomorrow. It's not, no one's going to die if you don't write it a second. I have to keep telling myself that one. It's not the end of the world if you don't finish it. Yeah. And just try to ignore Jeff.
And tell Jeff to fuck off.
Yeah.
Tell Jeff to fuck off.
Absolutely. No, this was great. I'm so glad we got the chance to talk to you and just like get some time to get to know you.
I'm very glad that Becca talked me into doing this. It's
lovely. Yeah,
it's a very fun experience.
Yeah, I just, like I said, you've done so much. I just know for the supernatural fandom, just for us in general too, and just like across the board. I mean, I know you touch a lot of different fandoms and stuff across the board, but I just love that, you said inspiration is a fickle mistress, but you seem to have a wealth of it, and getting to share it with all of us has been a really great gift. So thank you for doing that for us, for being our sort of like, I know for me, like, you're one of those people that I started reading on Tumblr and then, went on to AO3 to see. And it's just been great to hear about how you write and, what you like to write and why you like to write. And yeah, he needs to get his head wet is a great line.
There was entirely too many H's in that. But he's not putting...
okay, wait a minute, hold on. He needs to get his Ed wet.
That's better. Yeah. Ed wet,
I still quite Ed wet. Okay, I'll get there eventually. I think
that's quite a London Cockney saying no.
He needs to get his Ed wet. Yeah,
he needs to get his Ed
wet. Although you couldn't tell because I have the broadest of fucking Yorkshire accents. My family is from London, so I do speak Cockney as well.
My mum's boyfriend is so Cornish that I think I just accidentally turned my other earbud on.
Oh.
Yeah, now you're in stereo. 2 hours too late. There we go. That's fucking amazing. Yeah, my mum's boyfriend has like the thickest Cornish accent. I can't understand a word he says.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for agreeing to come and talk to us. Like the best time.
We'd love it if you came back. We really would.
Oh no, thank you for having me. I would love to come back and continue chatting about fandom. It's I don't get to talk to people about it very much.
Good. Well, we're glad.
It's nice to have a natter about the things that are interesting to me
that you like, right? Yeah. So it's nice. That's what we love doing about this too, is getting the chance to talk to people that love this as much as we could, get exasperated by it, but then also love it. You know, like the supernatural fan fiction, all of that stuff. It's great to get a chance to talk to people that enjoy it. Yeah, it's been great. It's been great. We will let you go because it's getting late.
Yes. I've got a cat looking at me somewhat seriously.
Say hi to Ted. Have a great rest of your night, Reeve. We really do appreciate it.
You too. Thanks for having me.
Yes. Thank you so much for chatting to us. Have a good rest of your night.
Bye.
See you later. Bye.
Oh,
that was fucking awesome.
She was so down to earth. She was so lovely. I loved it. I loved hearing you guys chat too and like just getting on about stuff.
Yeah, no, honestly, by the end of that, I was thinking I'm spending too much time with fucking Americans. I fucking Brits too funny. I gotta.
I think you do.
Find some more Brit friends. Fucking hell.
You probably have one now. You know, I mean, you guys have a lot in common too.
Yeah.
I just think that's great. Yeah, you definitely need to like be in touch. Be in touch with Kitten on Tumblr.
Yeah, gotta
message her immediately on there.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, it was great. I loved this. I feel really like, is it weird to say I feel like almost like really emotional about the fact that we got to do this thing with somebody that we've been talking about? Like,
honestly, that was
a really long time.
Fucking cool. So cool. Like, oh my God, we've made it, baby. We made it.
And she's so great, like, to talk about the like her writing. And I had so many more questions, but I was like, oh my gosh, this is like, I'll probably go through the document and like, you know, cross out the ones I know we got to, but then go back to some of the other ones that
we're gonna have
another time, because I mean there's obviously convention talk, you know, that we need to, we need to check on, but
stuff we didn't get into.
No, this was so great. Oh, did you have any like final thoughts on it?
What really stuck out to me is Rhys saying that she's not like, she's open and like honest, and she's not apologetic about what she does.
Mm-hmm.
And that really stuck with me, because it's something I've been thinking about a lot recently, and I fucking love that whole kind of just out there with your whole chest kind of thing. Like, this is what I do, and if you've got a problem with it, that's your fucking problem, not mine. I make people happy with what I do.
Yeah.
We need more of that in the world, I think.
Yeah, I think so too.
We need more of that in the world.
I think so too.
We do. And also the shocking realization that maybe my love of a slightly cliffhanger chapter ending comes from watching soap operas with my parents.
Yeah, that whole serial aspect of it, it's very much like that.
Yeah, because that was like, I'm gonna go out on a limb and say the EastEnders Duffs doesn't mean anything to you.
But is it kind of like a sound?
Yeah, so
like dun 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 or something like that.
It was doof
doof doof doof doof doof.
Okay. Na, 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 na. But that was what it was called, because it's like a day, like a weeknight. It showed like every like Monday through Friday, and then there's an omnibus on Sundays.
Okay.
And it's one of a couple of long running soap operas that have been on British TV since like the 70s,
right,
and the 80s.
Yeah.
But that is the ending music, and because it's a soap opera, it does end on cliffhangers a lot of the time. You know, somebody will say something, and then, you know, they'll say something and the camera pans in and it goes doof,
Oh, yeah. Mhm.
And that's what it's called. It's called the Duff Duffs.
Mhm.
Because you're like, no, fuck. Especially if it's a Friday. Oh, fuck you. If it's a Friday, you gotta wait until Monday to find out what's happening. But yeah, no,
You were dropping a lot of H's in that discussion.
Yeah, it's a problem. It's part of it's something I've done all my life.
Mm-hmm.
But as I've got older, I've realized it's probably an autistic trait.
It's so cute.
I will sort of like mimic an accent.
Mm-hmm.
I probably don't do it with you as often now because I talk to you so often.
Right.
But yeah, like you might notice if we're talking to someone from America, my accent will become like a little less Yorkshire in some ways. And especially because I grew up around people who talk like retalks. Yeah. It's very familiar for me to slip back
I think you need to totally have more conversations with people like that because it seemed very, you just like, you fell into everything very easy. Yeah. It was nice hearing that conversation. I was glad to just be a part of a lot of like listening to what you guys were talking about. So
yeah,
that was
and
great.
Clearly the snark rubbed off on you as well because you getting in there, girl. You getting in there. We're very snarky people.
Oh,
we are.
Goodness, like you're just hearing how she's got imposter syndrome. You know, like it's just like, oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh, we're the same. Yeah.
You know, it's just
the fact that she's named her imposter syndrome as well. I'm a huge fan of that. Mine does not have a name. It is a little goblin lives in my brain and goes, everyone's gonna know. Yeah. Everyone's gonna know that you're fucking lying and you're actually a horrible person. And you've tricked all these nice people into thinking that you're a nice person and actually you're awful. You know, and I haven't even named it to tell it to fuck off. So
they all need to go fuck off, though. That's the thing. Yeah. I
think that would be such a kick-ass episode name, but we probably shouldn't use it.
No.
We probably shouldn't name this episode. Tell Jeff to fuck off, because everyone's going to think it's about JDM.
Yeah, and that'll be a whole thing. We don't need that.
No.
We don't need that. No, there was a lot of Yeah, I can't wait to actually like go back and listen to this and, you know, re-experience the conversation with her. She was just wonderful. She was great.
An absolute delight.
Thank you, Ree. We really do appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
But we should get ready because we've had a long recording day and we need to wrap up.
We do.
But we want to thank you for listening and we want you to let us know what you thought of Kitten of Doomage because this is a big deal. Email us at idlinginthe@gmail.com. Comment on Spotify in the Q&A section. You can leave a YouTube comment. Join our Discord and chat with fellow idlers and us in real time. Check out our merch store, which is another fun way to show your support. You can find details for everything on our website. That's idlinginthe.com. Want to fuel our supernatural road trip? Consider joining us on Ko-fi for as little as $1 a month. We have perks to go along with different membership tiers and would love to have you along for the ride.
Speaking of perks, we've got special shout outs for some of our Ko-fi members. From Shotgun Picks and Music tier, we've got Crowley's Mistress, Runaway Dreamer, and Sam and Dean 76. From our own Mrs. Butters tier, we've got Charlie. Thanks for picking the tunes in the car and keeping the lights on in the bunker. Support like yours keeps our podcast going. Thank you. Don't forget, you can always support us for free by liking, commenting, subscribing on YouTube, and following, rating, and sharing on audio platforms. Engagement like that really helps us with the algorithms. All hail their benevolence. As always, we have the causes we support in the description. So from me, you have LGBTQ plus talking charities. From Sandra, you have mental health charities. And as always, the main causes that we are highlighting, championing, spotlighting are World Central Kitchen and Doctors Without Borders. If you want to know more about these causes, why we're supporting them, what they mean to us, check out idlinginthe.com. There's a page there called Causes Cause with all the details. So with that, we will say an enormous thanks to Ree for joining us. We had the bestest time. Thank you for joining us in the back seat, and we will see you next time, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.